Welcome to Yoga Power Core. My name is Lance, and I'll be guiding you through a total core workout. We're going to systematically work through our core at different levels, the front, the side, and the back. So there'll be lots of modifications, so you can choose a level that works for you. Remember, we're working our core, not our shoulders or our wrist, so be kind to that part of your body. Let's begin with a warm-up. Sweep the arms up. And then bring them down. Let's roll the shoulders back. Find your breath now. There's a particular breath for the core. We'll inhale, but as we exhale, we engage the core like a girdle surrounding our abdomen and spine. Inhale. Exhale. We can make these movements bigger. Sweep the arms up with a rounded back, and now exhale, strong core. It's a mild engagement, but very conscious. Inhale. Exhale, engage the core. So we'll be firing up our core when we need to hold our back in a firm position. Exhale. Let's sweep the arms up and do a little side bend to one direction. Inhale up and side bend in the other direction. Inhale up and stretch those ribs out. It's just a gentle movement in the beginning. There'll be plenty of opportunities for more vigorous movements. Reach up, lower the arms, twist. Inhale up, twist in the other direction. Inhale, come to center, bring the hands to the heart. We're going to begin our warm-up with a very gentle sun salutation. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, protect the back. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, we'll step back, and then we'll inhale here. We'll take an extra breath to find a strong plank, fire up that core, and then exhale back into child's pose, flowing like a water on the beach. Inhale up to the cow pose, tuck toes, drop belly, and then exhale, lift to downward facing dog, pedaling the legs, just stretching everything out. Coming to stillness after a big exhalation, bring the feet forward between the hands, stepping, walking, or maybe hopping. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, upward salute, and then back to your mountain pose. And we'll finish our warm-up with a classical sun salutation. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back with the left foot, lower knees, point toes, sweep the arms up, crescent pose. Greet the sun, gazing up. Exhale, hands down to the mat. Let's add a hamstring stretch. Sit the hips back towards the heel. If that's hard on the knee, you can do a pyramid stretch. And then inhale, come forward to the low lunge. Leave the right hand or left hand on the mat. Sweep the right arm up to the right. Another twist. Bring the hand down to the foot. Tuck the toes. Lift the knee. And then step back to plank. Inhale. Strong plank. Sit back into the child's pose as you exhale. Inhale, come forward to the cow pose. Tuck toe, drop belly. Exhale into downward facing dog. And you can move around in your down dog. Exhale, and then bring the feet forward between the hands. Inhaling to a half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, upward salute. And bring the hands to the heart and flowing hands to the thighs. Let's do the other side to finish the warm up. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to a half lift. Now the right foot steps back, lower knees, point toes. Inhale, sweep the arms up, gaze up at the sun if you like, or gaze at the horizon. Exhale, hands to the mat, sit back into your version of your hamstring stretch. Gazing at the knee to keep the neck in line with the spine. Try to get those lower ribs into the thigh, and then inhale into a low lunge. Keep the right hand on the mat by the foot, sweep the left arm up, twisting. Exhale, bring the hand down by the foot, tuck toes, lift knee, slide the left foot back to plank. Inhale in a strong plank here. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. After the exhalation, bring the feet between the hands. Inhaling to a half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, upward salute. Hands to the heart and mountain pose. We're ready to begin our first round of our core workout. So we'll start with some total core exercise. Let's find our plank. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back to that plank. So we're going to hold our plank and we're going to go through several variations. So get the hips between the heels and the shoulders. Don't round the back up. Try to spread the shoulders wide. So this is the straight arm, straight leg version of plank. If this is hard on your wrist, maybe you want to take a break, you can come down to your forearms. We still want to keep those hips between shoulders and ankles. So here's our forearm plank. This is one of your options. For ease, we can bring our knees down and then lower the hips a bit. Gaze at your thumbs. So this is a more easeful version of our plank. We can also come up to our straight arms for a knee plank, but notice the hips are between the crease of the knee and the shoulders. And then we can lift the knees up, and here we are back into our plank. And we'll hold whatever version of plank that you prefer for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then bring the knees forward and then just sit back. So we're going to begin systematically working through the core. We'll start with the rectus abdominis, the muscles on the front. And we'll be using boat pose. Long, tall back, hold the back of the thighs and lift the legs. So for boat pose, our options are to lower our feet for ease or to raise them all the way up for more work. But what we want to focus on is a strong core and a straight back. So let's inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Core breath, strong core. Inhale up, exhale down. And then let's take a break here. So breaks are encouraged in this class. You never want to move when your muscles are exhausted, or you'll dump that work into your joints, which we don't want to do. That just leads to injury. Find your boat. Choose the version that you wish. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And sit up nice and tall, reminding ourselves to strive for that back. We're going to move now to our side muscles, the internal and external obliques. We'll be doing that in a side plank. Let's explore all the choices that you can make. We begin with a knee side plank. Extend one leg out. Hip is over the knee. Bring the hand down. You could use a block. And then we lift our arm up. So we're stacking our arms and shoulders in a straight line. Don't sit the hips back. Bring them forward. You can make the knee plank more challenging by moving the knee back towards the foot. So this is your first level of more difficulty. We can also come down to a forearm plank if our wrist is starting to not feel right. With straight legs, our first option is to have the top leg foot in front of the bottom leg foot. Bring those hips forward. And here's our forearm side plank. You can also stack the feet as another choice. So you don't need to be doing these options as I demonstrate them. You just need to be aware that there are these choices. Well, of course, we can do the straight arm side plank or not do it. But if you're doing it, begin with that top leg foot in front of the other. And then if you want to move to the most challenging version, stack the ankles. Bring the hips forward. And let's come down and explore them on our other side. So we'll start with our knee plank. So I encourage you to do some of the exercises that are coming up in a knee side plank rather than a challenging version so you can really work your core. Don't sit the hips back, bring them forward. And of course, you can make it a little more challenging by bringing the knee back. And when your wrist is not feeling happy, go to a forearm side plank with that front top leg foot in front of the other. And then stack feet only if you want to. It's your choice. Let's come on down. So you may be just doing knee plank while I'm doing all of these variations, and that's perfectly fine. You are making a wise choice. You are listening to your body. And of course, straight arm, straight leg plank, top leg foot in front of the bottom leg foot, and you can bring it up. And let's all come down. So those are our choices. We also need to work our back muscle. So let's see how we can do that. Let's come from hands and knees, walk the knees back, and then bring the hips down, flowing down to your chest. So our hands are under our shoulders, tuck the elbows in, and then slide the hands back by the ribs, keep the elbows tucked in, press the 10 toenails into the mat. So we can lift our torso, starting to work our back muscles. If we want to work them a bit more, we can lift the hands up and maybe pulse the elbows up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lower down, turn one cheek, or come down to one cheek, stretch the neck gently. Come to center, let's lift up again, lift the hands, pulse the elbows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And turn the other cheek and rest. Bring the chin to the mat. We can also lift our legs, maybe one at a time or maybe both. We can alternate. We can take breaks whenever we need those. So we've got our legs lifted up, hands and chest on the mat. Lower the legs. And the most challenging version will be to lift the legs, bring the hands back, pressing the palms into the earth. Hands are by the hips. Lift the chest up. Maybe you can lift the hands up, turn the palms up, touch the thumbs together, move them away. You could even interlace fingers, bringing the palms together. This is locust pose. In locust pose, we want to relax the neck so we're looking straight down. We don't need to do any work in muscles that are not necessary. So keep the neck and the lower jaw relaxed, and then lower down, hands under the shoulders, press up, sit back into child's pose. And then come up to hands and knees. So we've completed round one of our core workout. We start with a total core. We move to the abs, then the side muscles, and then finally the back muscles for each round. It's time to start round two. So walk the hands forward, bring the shoulders over the wrist, tuck toes, lift to downward facing dog. So downward facing dog needs to be a resting pose. So bring the chest down to the earth, bend the knees, get the weight back on the feet, and then straighten the legs as an option. So it's important to get the weight off the wrist and shoulders and back onto the feet. Lift the right leg up, bring the knee forward to the nose or chin, get the shoulders over the wrist. We're going to hold this pose. This is called tiger pose. Draw the knee up to the armpit. And now from tiger pose, we'll inhale, three-legged dog, flex the foot, stretch, and then tiger pose again. Exhale. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, tiger pose. Set the foot down. Rest in downward facing dog or child's pose. 3 breaths. So I'm giving you enough time to take a quick break in child. Let's all get up to downward facing dog. We'll do the other side. Inhale. Left leg up. Reach to the heel. Bring the knee forward to the nose or towards the nose. Shoulders over wrist. Round the back like cat pose. Draw the knee up to the armpit. Breathing and holding tiger pose. Inhale, three-legged dog. And exhale, tiger pose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, tiger pose. And set the foot down, down dog. We'll all rest in child. Roll the wrist, flex the fingers. Well, I have some bad news. That was just the warm-up. Okay, back to downward facing dog. So now that we've learned tiger pose, we can learn to ride the elevator. Right leg up, inhale, exhale, knee to the elbow, tiger pose. Lower that knee down to the wrist, hovering above the mat. Draw it up to the armpit. That's 1. Down, up the elevator to the armpit. 2, down, up, and find your downward facing dog. We'll take a couple of breaths here. Time for a very fast child pose if you want. We'll do the other side from downward facing dog, three-legged dog, knee to nose, tiger pose. Ride the elevator down, hovering just behind the wrist, drawing up to the armpit. Down we go. Up for 2, round the back. Down, draw the knee up to the armpit for 3. Set the foot down, downward facing dog, and child's pose. And then come up to hands and knees, sit off to the side. It's time to work through our core. We're going to begin in our boat pose. So let's get a little block Or you don't need a block. It's nice to hold on to something. Lengthen the back. Here we are in boat pose. We can bring the block to the chest and we can work not only the front muscles, but the obliques by doing little twists. Exhale as you twist. These are called Russian twists. In bar sculpt, we do it with 20 pounds of weight instead of this silly little yoga block. You can make the movements bigger. Keep the feet up or put them down or take a break. And then come to center. Find your boat. And set your feet down. We can get that same feeling by rolling back. Let's use our core. Inhale, pause, exhale, core breath. Pause, tuck the chin, inhale, roll back, hold it, roll all the way down. So reach up, interlace fingers, bring the hands behind the head, bring the elbows forward, draw one knee in, extend the other leg out. Bring the elbow to the opposite knee, exhale. So we're going to alternate. These are called crisscrosses, exhaling as the elbow comes to the knee. Here we go. Exhale, 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 exhale. And draw the knees into the chest. Relax the neck and the lower jaw. Okay, we've warmed up those side muscles, so let's use them in our side plank. So choose the version that you prefer. We're going to be doing hip dips. You can do these in any version of plank. I'm going to start on a forearm plank with my top leg foot in front of my bottom leg foot, but do it any way you want. Knee plank will work for this. Reach forward, lift the hips up, and then reach back, exhale, lower the hips just a bit, up for one, dip and exhale, up for two, dip, lift for three, dip, lift, 4, dip, lift for 5, dip, lift for 6, reach up, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bring it down. Okay, we've got another side. Let's do it on that side. Choose your plank variation. And find that plank. Lift those hips up, reach forward, exhale, lower, just a bit. You don't have to make it too big. Inhale for 1, dip, make it small if that's better, 2, 3, 4, lift those hips up, 5, dip, exhale, 6, reach up, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Well, we're ready for something else using our obliques. Let's thread the needle. So find a version of plank that works for you. I'm going to go with straight arm with the top leg, foot in front of the other for stability. Find your side plank. Bring those hips forward. And then exhale, elbow towards the elbow. Inhale up. Exhale. Thread the needle. 2, 3. Twist. And inhale for 4. Exhale. 5. And 6. And let's just bring it down. So you're starting to figure out that I sort of like that number 6. Okay, let's do it on the other side. Make sure you're aligned just right. Straight line from wrist through the shoulders to the top wrist. Inhale, exhale to twist. Inhale for 1. Elbow towards the elbow, and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And bring it down. Okay. What's next? Oh, our back muscles. So from hands and knees, walk the knees back. Bring the hips down. Keep the elbows tucked in as you lower the chest down. Bring the hands back by the hips. Point the toes. So we'll begin where we left off in locust pose. Let's lift our feet, lift our arms. And here we are in locust pose. So this is the pose where you definitely want to take occasional breaks. We're going to begin by fluttering our feet and our hands, keeping the feet and chest elevated above the mat. We can make this a little more challenging if we bring the arms out to the side, sort of like a swan dive. Wiggling hands and feet. Remember to relax the neck, look down. If you want to make it more challenging, reach forward. This is called Pilates swimming. Stretch those arms out. If that's too much, come back to Superman or our swan. If that's too much, come back, hands by the hips. If that's too much, take a break. Hands to the side, hands front. Have any of you been staying with your hands in the front the whole time? Hands to the side, back. Bring the hands forwards, stack the hands, lower the forehead down. Press up the hands and knees, and child's pose. Extend the arms out. Reach and then bring them back by the feet with the palms up, and breathe here, knowing that you've completed round 2. All right, come on up, ready to start round 3. Oh, let me adjust my screen. One of my cheat sheets also fell down on the floor. So I was wondering where round 4 and 5, oh, sorry, there is several more rounds. Let's come to plank. So get your strong plank. Remember, you can be in forearm plank. In fact, I think I'll just start in forearm plank. No, let's see. No, I'm going to start in straight arm plank. So we're in a plank. Get those hips down. Lift the right leg up, foot up. Move it out to the side. Tap it. Bring it in. You can hover it or set it down. That's 1. Out to the right. In for 2. Out. In for 3. Keep the hips low. Out. In for 4. Out. In for 5. Out. In for 6. Take a break in child or hold your plank. Don't round those shoulders. Keep the hips low. And we'll do the other leg. Left leg out. In, hover or tap. Out. In for 2. Out. In for 3. Out. In for 4. Out. In for 5. Out. In for 6. Hold your plank. Come down to child's pose. Roll the wrist, flex the fingers. So now we're going to do another exercise. I'm going to choose forearm plank for this one. So find your forearm plank. Don't hike the hips up. Get them nice and low. Okay, we got our strong plank. Lift the right foot, bring the right knee to the right tricep, touch it, shoot it back, hover, or set it down. knee to tricep, back for 2. Knee to tricep, back for 3. Exhale. And then send it back for 4. Strong core. 5. Exhale. And hold it. Let's sit back into child. That's a pretty tough one. Okay, I hope you enjoyed your break. Let's do it on the other side. Find your version of plank. Get those hips down between shoulders and ankles. Inhale and then exhale, knee to tricep. Shoot it back, hovering or setting it down, forward. Back for 2. Exhale, as you bring it forward, back for 3. Strong core, 4, forward, 5, forward, and 6. Hold your plank. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Child's pose. Okay. Come on up. Bring the legs forward. Let's extend the legs and lift our chest up. Nice tall back. Reminding ourselves that we want to keep our back tall in Navasana, flat and a straight line. So we can do a different movement in boat. So we've got our, we're in boat, but instead of lifting up and down, we're going to extend out. So inhale, legs forward, torso back, look up at the ceiling, arms by knees. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, bring it in. Inhale, bring it in as you exhale for 3. Inhale, exhale for 4. Inhale. Exhale for 5. Inhale. Exhale for 6. Reach up. Inhale. Exhale. And take a break. So that's called an isotonic exercise. The muscles change shape as you work them. We can also do it isometrically when we work the muscles and they don't change shape. You're probably wondering how we're going to do that. Well, let's go back in our boat. We're going to inhale, exhale, and then extend out into your boat or your canoe. Hold this pose. Open your feet to 45-degree angle like flipper feet. Reach up with the arms. Bring the little finger, the thumb together, fingers are open. Lotus mudra. Bring the hands to the heart. You're holding your abalone shell. You're a sea otter floating in the kelp in the Monterey Bay, enjoying this sunny day. As you breathe, keep engaging the core. Inhale, exhale, bring it in, and sit up nice and tall. So aren't you glad you know the difference between isotonic and isometric? Okay, it's time for our side plank work. Any version of side plank will work for this. So in the beginning, you're just going to flop your foot around. But as you get stronger, we want to move the foot in a very controlled, big motion. So find your side plank. All right, so bring that top foot forward in front of the lower leg foot. Lift it up, back, and up, forward for 1. Up, back, up, forward for 2. Up, back, forward for 3. Up, and aren't you glad that my favorite number is 6, 4, up, back, up for 5, up, back, up, forward for 6, and hold it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, shake that wrist out. Don't worry, you're not going to have to use it on the other side. So remember, this is yoga core, not yoga shoulder or not yoga wrist. Be kind to these areas of your body and work your core like crazy. We're using body weight, so we should avoid injury. Let's try it on the other side. I mean, we will avoid injury. Okay, so bring the top foot forward, up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale for 1, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale for 2, whoa, inhale, back, up for 3, up, back, up for 4, up, back, up for 5, up, back, way up, and lower it down for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Okay. All right, well, we've got to do something for our back muscle. Maybe we can use that yoga block. All right, so we're going to stretch out, reaching from tips of the toes to tips of the fingers. Feel that nice full body stretch. So hold the block from the sides to straighten the arms, lift your toes up, floating the feet above the earth. See if you can lift the block up as well. Suspending block and feet. Now pass the block to the left, bring it behind, and then bring it to the right and forward. There's 1. Back, forward for 2. Back, forward for 3. It sure feels good when it's in the back. Forward for 4. Back, forward for 5. Back, forward for 6. Back. Oh, that was 6. Sorry about that. Hold it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't set it down. Pass it to the right and back. Left for 1. Back. Forward for 2. Back. Forward for 3. Back. Forward for 4. Back. Forward for 5. Don't worry, I remembered to stop at 6. For 6, hold it. 6, 5. Are you relaxing your neck? 4, 3, 2, 1. Set it down. Okay. Press up the hands and knees. Sit back into child. And you're going to need, come on up. We're going to need 2 blocks on the outside of our mat. Good job. We've completed round 3. We're beginning round 4. Good thing I didn't lose that sheet with round 4 and 5. Remember your core breath. Inhale, exhale, strong core. So we're going to move to downward facing dog. And just settle into your down dog. So remember, we rode the elevator. We can have more fun. We can make little square shapes with our knee. Right leg up, 3-legged dog. So listen carefully. If you do this wrong, we're going to have to repeat it. Right knee to left elbow, twist. Lower down to the left wrist. Bring it over to the right wrist, hovering up to the right armpit. Let's make another square. Right knee to left elbow, down to the left wrist, over to the right wrist, up and
back to downward facing dog. Let's take a break in child. Well, good job. I noticed that everybody did it right, so we don't have to repeat it, but we can do it on the other side. From downward facing dog, lift the left leg up, bring the left knee to the right elbow, twist your body, lower it down, hovering behind the right wrist, over to the left wrist, up to the left armpit, over to the right elbow, down to the right wrist, left armpit, tiger pose, and downward facing dog, and child's pose. Roll the wrist, flex the fingers. So our next pose is going to be a variation of tiger pose. So we're going to find our tiger pose, hold our knee close to our chest, and we're only going to move our lower leg and our foot. So from downward facing dog, lift your right leg up, three-legged dog. Come forward to tiger pose, knee to chin or nose. Hold that knee right by the armpit, swing the foot forward, and then tickle your wrist with your toes. Bring it up, or just move it forward a few inches. You don't have to get to the wrist. And up, down dog. Take a couple of breaths. Quick break in child, very quick. And let's do the other side. Lift, left leg up, knee to nose, tiger pose. Hold that knee stationary. If you move your toes 2 inches, that's great. Bring the toes forward towards the wrist and lift them back up by the hips. Tickle your wrist with your toes and lift it up and down dog and child's pose. Roll the wrist, flex the fingers. Now I know you all wish you could do the step forward from low lunge or down dog to low lunge or high lunge much better. Let's enjoy it by using some blocks. So get your blocks in the low position, very important. Shoulder width apart, not too wide. Lift to downward facing dog. You've got all that space between your shoulders and the mat. From downward facing dog, right leg up. Bring that knee forward to tiger pose and float the foot down right between the blocks. And what a nice step forward. So we can work on that by bringing the blocks to the high position, under the shoulders, round the back up. Draw the knee to the chest. The foot is floating and swing it back and forth like a pendulum. So our goal is to get our toes in front of the blocks. If you can't do that, that's okay. And set the foot down. So if you weren't able to get your toes forward, you get your reward. You get to try again. If you got your toes forward, bring the blocks to the medium position. Let's all lift up, swing the foot like a pendulum. Are you getting those toes in front of the blocks? Are you earning your reward? Set it down. And yes, if you got the toes in front, you bring the blocks to the low position. You might still be in the high position. We're all working hard. And lift up and swing the foot. Don't worry, there's not a fourth position. And set it down, step back to child's pose. We better take 3 breaths here. Calm the mind. Don't think about the fact that you have another leg. And come on up to the reality or the nightmare of knowing that you have another leg. Find your down dog. At least you can enjoy this step forward. 3-legged dog. And then bring that foot right between the blocks and float it down. Bring the blocks to the high position. Round the back, making space. Draw the knee up to the chest. Swing the foot like a pendulum. Trying to get the toes in front of the block. So the blocks are right under your shoulders. And they're shoulder width apart. Set it down. Did you get your reward? We all got our reward. We get to do it again in the high or the medium position. Swing that foot like a pendulum. Okay, set it down. All right, low position. This is my tough side. I'm getting tired, but I can do it. You can do it. Here we go. Lift up that foot. Swing it. Set it down. Downward facing. No, child's pose. Move the blocks aside. Bring the arms back. Flexing fingers, rolling wrist. And it's time for side plank. So all variations work. Knee side plank, straight arm, forearm. You can do whatever version you want. Whew. All right. So I'm going for straight arm. I'm going to stack my feet. I'm going to reach up and then I'm going to reach forward. Inhale as you reach. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, reach. Exhale. Inhale. Elbow to knee. Inhale. What's that? 3. Elbow to knee. 4. Exhale. 5. Exhale. 6. Hold it. Bring it up. Good form. And bring it on down. All right. All right. We don't worry. We're not going to use that wrist. Other side. Find a good form in your side plank. Reach forward as you inhale, exhale, elbow to knee. Extend for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Reach up, good form, and bring it on down. Okay. Time to bring our attention to our back muscles. From hands and knees, we'll walk our hands forward, lower our hips, tuck our elbows in, rub the ribs as you lower down. And we'll bring our hands and stack them and place our forehead on the hands. So we learned all about isometric and isotonic. So we're going to do some isometric backward. Lift the feet up. Lift the elbows up. Glue the head, forehead, and the hands together as a single unit. And then lift up. This is called sea monster pose. And we're going to hold it for a long time. Here we go. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can you lift higher? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, higher, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, lower down. Well, what's up with 20? Doesn't have anything to do with the number 6. And press up and sit back into child's pose. Good job. We've completed round 4. I can't believe we've already done that. My cheat sheet is falling down
We can't lose it because it has our bonus round, round 5.
Lance, we didn't do in the boat on round 4.
Okay, thank you, Nick. I wondered why we had so much time left. So how can we work our abs in boat pose? Well, let's not work our abs. Let's work our abs and our obliques at the same time. So sitting up nice and tall, find your boat pose. You can keep the feet low for ease, or you can bring them up, shins level for challenge, but keep the back nice and flat. We're gonna tip over on one hip, reach in the opposite direction, and balance. Maybe you can extend your legs. Breathe, lift your chest up. Bring the chest and the knees closer together. Come back to center. Lift the feet up, lengthen the back. Tip over on the other side. We're in choppy water in our boat. Maybe extending the feet, lifting the heart up, lengthening the back, coming back to center, and sit up tall, lengthening the back. Well, that was so much fun. Let's do it again. Reach forward, tip over onto that hip, and get up on that hip as far as possible. Remember your core breath. As you exhale, tighten the core. Inhale, core breath. And then come to the other side. Strong core breath. Engage the entire core. Come to center. Inhale up, exhale. And sit up nice and tall. All right, thanks, Nick. We would have hated to have missed that. All right, so now we're moving to our bonus round. And we're not doing plank. Good news, no plank, no downward facing dog. So this is leg boat pose. We're gonna reach forward, but we're gonna cross our ankles. We're gonna bring our knees into our chest. We're making ourselves small. Let's squeeze in, make ourselves as small as possible. Our heels are floating. See if you can hold this shape and reach out. And set the feet down, sitting up tall. Lengthen, bring the hands down, lift the hips up, sit down, and then cross ankles the other way. Lifting into boat with crossed ankles, draw those knees into the chest. Help yourself, make yourself small. Lengthen the back. See if you can use your psoas muscles to hold these legs in and your core, reach out. Bring the hands down, lift the hips up, and sit down. Okay, so you're gonna need some blocks. So we can't use the blocks in the high position. It would just be too dangerous. So you're gonna have to use them in the medium or the low position. If you have 4 blocks, that's better. I recommend this, 2 blocks on either side in the low position. We want a stable base here. So I'm starting in the medium position. Do not go to the high position. Cross your ankles, point your toes back, bring your knees together. Make yourself narrow. Sit back on your heels. Bring the blocks by the hips. You want them in as close as possible, right under the shoulders. Lift the knees up. And then put on your earrings. Lift your feet. This is called the dangling earring, Lolasana. You can float back and forth if you like. Round the back up and lower down. Well, for balance, we need to try that on the other side. Point the toes back. Bring the blocks in narrow. Lift up and float in Lolasana, the dangling air. You can practice moving back and forth so this works the core. Come on down. So did that cramp your calf muscle? Try it with the toes, the feet together and the toes back, not crossing the ankles. Maybe that will help. Lift up, And then lift the feet up and hold just to try to round the back. I think I prefer it with the crossed ankles. Okay. Let's extend our legs out in case we've got some calf cramps. We'll do a very gentle forward fold here. We're stretching out our calf muscles. So keep the back nice and flat. We're not stretching our hamstrings or our back. Wiggle the feet around. Okay, well, all of that was training for our next pose. So we're going to do the bump up and step back, and then we're going to come forward. So we're going to lift our feet, cross ankles, grab our feet, bring the feet under the hips onto the tops of the feet, roll onto your knees, put your hands in front of your knees, lift your hips up, lift your knees. This is called the bump up. Step back to plank and downward facing dog. And we can get back by bringing one leg forward on the top of our foot, bring the other foot forward on the top of the foot, cross ankles, sit back. It's a reverse of the bump up. Hands by the hips, extend the legs out and sit up tall. Let's try that again, maybe crossing ankles the other way. Which way did I? Bring them in, tops of the feet, knees, hands in front of knees, bump up, step back, we're in plank, down dog. And then bring the other foot forward, top of the foot, the other one, and then reverse of the bump up, sit the hips back, extend the feet out, and here we are. Okay. So it's time to work our abs, which are actually pretty darn tired in our boat pose. What can we do differently? Sit up tall. Let's try a pedal boat. So we're pedaling our boat. We're pulling our knees into our chest. Remember the core breath. Well, let's go backwards. That's an interesting challenge. And if that's boring or you're tired of that, go forward. But try to lift the heart up as if a string was pulling you up. And we'll go backwards. It's pretty hard when you're tired. It starts to become a coordination issue. And cross ankles, find that tall back. All right. We need to do something for our obliques. So we're not going to do a knee side plank. We're going to do something similar. Get a pad under your knee if your knee is sensitive. So you can put it under your shin so your knee is floating or under your knee. Reach. We want lots of room to move our leg. So make sure there's space so you don't kick the furniture. Stretch the leg out. Bring the hand down to the mat. Arm up, this is knee side plank, and then hand to the back of the head, roll the shoulder up, lift the elbow, lift the foot up high, bring it forward, back, as far as you can, bring it forward for 1, back for 2, back for 3, back for 4, these are called kneeling side kicks. 5, it's a Pilates. Actually, it's an advanced Pilates. And bring it down. So we want to try to keep our ankle up high. That's the challenge. Extend the other leg out. Make sure you've got lots of room to move. Bring the hand all the way down to the earth. Reach up, hand behind the head. Get that elbow up high. Open the chest. Lift the leg up. Bring it forward. Back as far as you can. Forward for 1. Back. Forward for 2. Back. Forward for 3. Back. Forward for 4. Back. Forward for 5. Back. Forward for 6. Reach out, lift up, and come on up. Good job. Okay. We haven't done anything in bridge pose, which is a great core strengthener. Our core is getting tired. So let's come down using our arms and our forearms. Bring the heels toward the hips, tickle the heels with your fingertips. Knees and ankles are hip distance apart. Tuck the shoulders under, and then lift the hips up. This is called Pilates bridge. The hips are suspended between the knees and the chest in a straight line. So we want to not go to the yogic bridge. We're going to stay in the Pilates bridge. Walk your feet together, bring your knees together. So this engages the inner thighs. Exhale, knee towards the head. Tap the toes down for 1. Exhale, forward. Inhale, tap for 2. Get those hips up. Exhale. Inhale to tap. Exhale. Inhale to tap. 4. Exhale, tap for 5. Exhale, tap for 6. Lift those hips up. Keep the hips up. Let's do the other side. Inhale, hips up. Exhale, knee forward. Inhale, tap the toes. Keep the hips up. Exhale, tap for 2. Exhale, tap for 3. Exhale, tap for 4. Exhale, tap for 5. Exhale, tap for 6. Lift those hips up. Inhale, exhale, lower it down in a controlled manner, strong core. Hug the knees into the chest. And sit up, extending the legs straight out in Dandasana. So here's our last exercise. Sometimes this is called the stick pose. So we're seated here, legs are straight, torso is straight, chin is relaxed and level. Find your breath, your core breath. Well, this is power core, so a stick pose just will not do it. How about a floating stick pose? So let's begin by just bringing our hands behind us. We'll just lift the hips up into a reverse plank. Inhale, exhale, lower down. Inhale. Exhale. Controlled movement, strong core. We're just going to do one more. Exhale. You can tuck the chin if it's hard on your neck. Okay. Floating stick. We're going to hinge forward, but we got to keep our back flat. And then we're going to lift our hips up. And then we're going to set them down. Lift up and set down. Okay, that's not the exercise, that's the warm-up. We're going to lift up and we're going to slide our heels back. Lift up, slide the heels back. Bring the chest forward. You can lift your feet if you want. I want to, but I can't. And then come down. Let's try that again. Lift up, slide back. Maybe you can lift one leg or the other leg and sit down. And one more time, lift up, bring the hips back. Round the back up, lift up, and bring it down. And we'll roll back for our finishing postures. Let's draw the knee, keep the knees over to the hips, and we're going to go side to side or circle the knees around the hips. Like if our knees are together, we're stirring the pot of soup. Make sure you go in both directions. If the knees are apart and the toes together, they're egg beaters. So we're giving our lower back some love to finish our workout, gently massaging it. We've protected our lower back by engaging our core on the exhalation. So remember that when you're doing garden work or working in the kitchen, bending down to get that iron skillet in the lowest part of the shelf. Draw the knees into the chest. Exhale, Forehead or chin to knees, cradle tuck. Inhale. Bring the head back to that. Extend the legs up, hands by the hips. A nice finishing inversion. Point and flex the feet. Circle the feet around the ankle joint. And circle in the other direction for balance. Come to stillness. Tilt the pelvis forward. Make a tunnel under your lower back. Press the shoulders into the mat. Lift the heart. Relax the chin and lower jaw, or the lower jaw. Holding this back position, allow the knees to drift to the armpits. Reach up between the knees, grasping shins, ankles, or outside of the feet. This is the yoga power core version of Shavasana because it feels so good. So enjoy your happy baby for 3 breaths, rocking side to side or remaining in stillness, using your breath, not your arms, to draw, allow the knees to float downwards and relax. Complete that exhalation, take your time, draw the knees into the chest, and press yourself up to a seated position. Find a comfortable seat. Extend the arms out to the side, lengthen the spine, sweep the arms up. Inhale to reach, exhale, bring them up. Remember the core. Inhale up. Exhale, engage your core. Inhale up, and now we'll just relax everything as the arms drift down to the heart in Anjali Mudra. The light within me salutes the light within each of you, the light that connects us all together. Namaste. And thank you so much for coming to Yoga Power Core. I hope to see you again in class.